There are different ways to counsel patients about birth control options. Let's explore three common counseling models and how they support patient centered care. Imagine a spectrum. On one end, the patient makes a decision on their own. On the other end, the priorities of the care team are likely to shape the decision. But somewhere in the middle, that's where shared decision making comes in. Let's break down each model one by one. In the consumerist model, the patient is given information and makes the decision on their own. The care team member is there to offer support, information, and expertise. This could mean giving only information on the methods asked about by the patient and making sure the patient can safely use the method they're considering. Or it could mean that the care team member gives the patient the same facts about every birth control method. The care team member does not share their own personal opinions or priorities, but they are also not likely to ask questions to explore the patient's goals, needs, and preferences. For example, consider a patient who comes into the clinic and says, "I'm thinking about going on the pill." A clinician using the consumerist model might respond, "Sure, let's get you the information you need about the pill and make sure that method is safe for you to use." This answers the patient's request, but it doesn't ask whether the pill is the best choice for their goals, needs, and preferences. The patient might have picked the right method for themselves, but it could be a missed chance to talk about other options that may work just as well or even better. Now let's look at directive counseling. In this model, the care team member focuses on one priority while talking about method options. One example is tiered effectiveness counseling. This is where methods are ranked based on how effective they are at preventing pregnancy. The care team member presents the most effective methods first, which usually emphasizes intrauterine devices, or IUDs, and the implant as the best methods for all. This might be helpful for some patients, but not every patient prioritizes effectiveness. The patient might care more about clearing up their acne, reducing period cramps, or convenience. How would this look? Think again about the patient who says, "I'm thinking about going on the pill." Using directive counseling, the clinician might say, "Sure, I'm happy to talk to you about the pill. But first, I like to tell all my patients about the most effective methods. Have you heard of the IUD and the implant?" This approach can feel like a one-way conversation and could be a missed chance to center the patient's goals, needs, and preferences. And if the patient feels pressured, this approach can coerce the patient into making a decision. In fact, while this model used to be seen as a best practice, it's no longer recommended because it prioritizes effectiveness over the individual goals, needs, and preferences of each patient. Shared decision-making uses the best parts of these other counseling approaches to create a two-way conversation. The patient and the care team member work together to support the patient in making the best decision for them. The patient is the expert in their needs, and the care team member is the expert on medical guidelines and best practices. Both types of expertise are important for decision-making in this model. In fact, the care team member draws from the patient's expertise to guide counseling. Let's think one last time about the patient who comes to the clinic and says, "I'm thinking about going on the pill." Using the shared decision-making model, the clinician might say, "I'm happy to tell you about the pill. Can you tell me more about what you're looking for in a birth control method?" That way, we can make sure we're talking about all the methods that might meet your needs today. The shared decision-making model is truly patient-centered, which is why shared decision-making is the model recommended for contraceptive counseling in healthcare today.